Being rich and famous can make some people do some crazy things, but few have managed to create as many headlines as Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor is once again making headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Conor McGregor arrested.
New details tonight on the arrest of UFC star Conor McGregor.
This is a list of civil, criminal, and just straight-up savage incidents caused by none other than the notorious one, Conor McGregor. In April of 2018, McGregor found himself in hot water after an incident at the Barclays Center just before UFC 223. Khabib Nurmagomedov, along with various other fighters on the card, were arriving to the arena on a bus when Conor and his entourage stormed the parking garage. McGregor, after snorting too many lines of Red Bull, launched a full-scale assault on the bus.
Whoa! Smash the windows!
Conor was angry over an earlier incident involving Khabib and one of his teammates. So, naturally, the only way to settle the feud was to launch a metal dolly through the bus window. The glass shattered in multiple fighters' faces, including Michael Chiesa and Ray Borg, causing a laceration to Chiesa's face and embedding particles of glass in Borg's eye.
That glass, when it broke, turned into almost dust in the thing, and it actually cut the eyeball, the cornea and the retina of Ray Borg.
Both fighters had to be removed from the card due to the injuries. A UFC employee also suffered a broken knuckle during the attack. UFC President Dana White said the incident was the most disgusting thing that's ever happened in the history of the company.
This is the most disgusting thing that has ever happened in the history of the company.
So disgusting that he decided to use the footage in an upcoming promo for Conor McGregor's next fight to help sell tickets.
How many times they show Conor throwing that dolly?
Oh.
How many times they show that, even in the promos? I hated when that happened. It was a terrible thing that Conor did that. God damn, that sold some tickets.
Conor was arrested later that day and charged with multiple felonies, including 3 counts of assault and 1 count of criminal mischief. After spending a minute or two in jail, Conor used the change from his left pocket to make bail. And when the legal dust finally settled, all of Conor's charges were dropped and instead replaced with 1 count of disorderly conduct.
I'm thankful to the DA and the judge for allowing me to move forward. I want to say to my friends, my family, my fans, thank you for the support. Thank you.
And McGregor's sentence for shattering glass into multiple people's eyes, breaking a UFC employee's knuckle, and destroying a bus window? 5 days of community service. Oh, and also a day or 2 of anger management.
They gave him anger management. No felony charges or anything.
Conor McGregor's Conor McGregor, and what can I tell you?
But why was Conor's sentence so light for such a serious offense? No idea. The UFC has a zero-tolerance policy on any behavior they deem unacceptable. Former UFC fighter Jason High was banned for life after shoving a referee. Roy Nelson was suspended for 9 months for kicking a ref. Paul Daly punched his opponent after the bell and was banned for life. And Jesse Taylor smashed the windows out of a limo and was removed from the Ultimate Fighter finale.
You wouldn't want a guy like that representing your company. Or the sport.
But in Conor's case, the only punishment handed down by the UFC were some seriously furrowed brows.
He's in a lot of trouble.
In 2017, McGregor was involved in a multi-tiered assault at Bellator 187.
But Conor McGregor going after the ref.
Conor was attending the event to support his teammate Charlie Ward, who had just won via KO. But before the fight was even officially over, Conor jumped into the ring to celebrate Ward's victory.
And look who's in to celebrate with him. The notorious one!
Referee Mark Goddard attempted to usher Conor from the ring, but was met with resistance. Conor, angry that he wasn't allowed in the ring during an active fight, without even having a cornerman's license, proceeded to push the referee.
Wow, Conor McGregor trying to go at the referee.
During the scuffle, Conor also managed to cause Ward's KO'd opponent to get knocked back to the floor before doctors could even attend to him.
I don't know what's going on here. That is crazy.
The chemically amplified McGregor eventually exited the ring, but returned for seconds after he leapt onto the cage railing and delivered a Stockton slap to one of the officials. Afterwards, the commission stated McGregor's conduct jeopardized the health and safety of fighters and staff, but once the dust settled, Conor received no punishment for the incident. Fresh off his anger management classes, Conor made headlines yet again after destroying and stealing a fan's phone. The altercation happened outside a Miami hotel and nightclub. Swarms of fans spotted Conor and were taking pictures when McGregor singled out one fan in particular and smacked the phone from his hand, then proceeded to stomp it to pieces. With hotel security holding the victim back, allowing Conor to do as he pleased, McGregor eventually picked up the phone and simply walked away with it. McGregor has never been friends with fans who want to grab a quick selfie with him, as evidenced by this prior incident of snatching at a fan's phone.
Unbelievable. How are you, Conor? It's good to see you. Oh, sorry.
Police were later called to apprehend Conor, but waited until a reasonable hour as not to disturb McGregor too early in the morning. Police arrived at his home later the next day and patiently waited for Conor to finish his breakfast and finish watching the latest Game of Thrones before politely greeting him.
This way, Conor. How you doing, man? Appreciate it, man.
Conor eventually agreed to go to the police station after officers promised him it wouldn't take longer than an hour to process him before they released him.
I'm sure once he gets in, the process at the station is going to be no less than 1 hour.
Conor was charged with felony strong-armed robbery and criminal mischief, but after learning who the defendant was, the prosecutor reduced the charge of strong-armed robbery to the lesser offense of robbery by sudden snatching. The victim filed a civil lawsuit for $15,000 over the assault and theft, which was quickly settled behind closed doors. When the criminal trial date finally came, all charges against McGregor were dismissed after the victim stopped cooperating.
Charges were dropped against star fighter Conor McGregor, who was accused of smashing a fan's phone outside a Miami Beach hotel.
My client is relieved. Obviously, he feels he should not have been arrested.
Allowing Conor, the Teflon Don McGregor, to walk free yet again.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G!
Conor McGregor may also be the first person to dethrone John Jones. Not in the cage, but in the number of traffic violations. McGregor has racked up over a dozen traffic violations due to reckless driving, driving without a license, speeding, and much more.
The court heard Conor McGregor has 12 previous convictions for road traffic offences dating back over 10 years.
In 2017, Conor was pulled over for going 95 miles per hour in a 60. After missing his initial court date and failing to pay the fine, he was banned from driving for 6 months and fined €1,000. Given the substantial amount of previous infractions, the judge said McGregor was lucky his punishment was so light.
The judge also told Conor McGregor that he was fortunate not to be facing more serious charges, such as careless or dangerous driving, as 8 out of 10 motorists are charged with those offences.
McGregor's lawyer stated that he believed Conor shouldn't be punished at all, as the negative publicity would be punishment enough.
His solicitor told the court today that these proceedings would reflect very badly on the mixed martial arts fighter, and the resulting negative publicity would be a punishment in itself.
When McGregor finally showed up to court, he stated, "I didn't realize I was going that fast," which is really just the real-life equivalent of this excuse.
I didn't know I couldn't do that.
In 2016, what was supposed to be a simple press conference erupted into a bombardment of dangerous and gross projectiles.
Conor, don't throw those Conor! Conor!
The UFC 202 press conference got heated after an exchange of words between Conor and Nate Diaz.
Get the out of here! Get the out of here!
After having a water bottle hurled in his general direction from Nate Diaz, McGregor returned fire and indiscriminately launched multiple full cans of Monster Energy into the crowd.
That's all right. Hey, Conor, don't throw those Conor! Conor!
Unfortunately, the cans missed their intended targets and instead hit one of the nearby security guards. Rather than take responsibility for his actions, McGregor opted to blame the security guard for getting hit, stating security should have broken up the incident before it even started. The guard who was hit with the can filed a lawsuit against Conor for $95,000, which included $5,000 worth of medical bills.
I'm on probation up to my eyeballs in ongoing and incoming civil cases.
McGregor's lawyer called the lawsuit frivolous, but settled out of court for an undisclosed sum. Conor was also fined $25,000 and slapped with 25 hours of community service by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Although the commission opted not to suspend McGregor, as he had a fight booked 3 days after the incident, which the NSAC was being paid to oversee. McGregor also doesn't mind breaking a rule or two, or 20, during his fights, as shown during the Khabib Nurmagomedov fight, where he committed a litany of different fouls.
But McGregor got away with so many fouls, to the point where Khabib he left his corner between round 3 and 4 to tell the ref, hey, why are you letting him get away with all these things?
Hey, he shouldn't be talking.
First of all, the worst foul is he need Khabib illegally from the bottom.
I think he's getting smashed.
I agree, but you have no choice either.
Illegal knee on the ground by Conor.
McGregor was holding the fence on the last takedown.
He's done this time and time again, and when you try to stand up without hand control, he throws you.
Another warning from Herb Dean for a fence grab there.
Okay, before that, he had held the shorts.
I've never seen anybody be able to straighten a leg out like that. The way he hangs, and he almost knee bars you.
He was grabbing Khabib's gloves.
As long as Conor's controlling your wrist. He's grabbing the glove there. He's got his glove. He's got his glove underneath.
Well, Conor was grabbing his glove, which is illegal.
He had put his toes in the fence after being told not to.
A knee to the head of a downed opponent.
Can't interlock the toes in the fence. McGregor got away with that one, still doing it. Herb Dean should be warning him there.
Grabbing the fence seems to be McGregor's foul of choice, and he's used it for extra leverage to finish off opponents.
This could be it. That is it.
He's also grabbed the fence countless other times throughout his career.
Mark Goddard furious with the referee, and I think it's something to do with Conor McGregor holding on to the fence. But anyway, back to the action.
Conor also fouled Floyd Mayweather over 14 times, with every trick in the book during his boxing debut, including a low blow,
Lovely work, beautiful work, body shot by McGregor. Low blow.
over a dozen punches to the back of the head,
I wasn't expecting Floyd to do against the first. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's illegal. That's his powered shot. You cannot do that. That is illegal. That was an illegal shot. You can't hit him there. That you can't hit him on the back of the head. Both shots landed there. That is not
But he's hit him on the back of the head.
You cannot do that.
No rabbit punch.
He
No
has.
rabbit punch.
He's done a lot of subtle things in there.
and even faked an apologetic glove touch, only to deliver a sucker punch instead. McGregor has also come under fire several times for his multitude of insensitive comments towards other fighters' religions and ethnicities. The most recent example was a quickly deleted tweet Conor sent to Khabib Nurmagomedov, where he posted an image of Khabib and his wife's wedding. In the tweet, he referred to Khabib's wife as a towel due to the traditional Islamic garb she was wearing. McGregor also followed up by tweeting, "Plot twist, it's a goat under that towel." Conor also tried to offer Khabib, who doesn't drink due to his religion, alcohol.
I'm gonna go like my last fight. Like, I don't drink.
Why don't you drink?
I don't drink.
Why don't you drink?
I never drink.
After Khabib refuses, Conor then refers to his beliefs as backwards.
I never drink.
You're mad backwards.
But Khabib wasn't the only one on the receiving end of McGregor's vitriolic comments. Conor has also referred to Latino fighter Nate Diaz as a cholo gangster and a crackhead essay.
He's like a little cholo gangster from the hood.
Crackhead essays.
Conor has also called Dennis Seaver a Nazi just because he's German and made multiple insensitive comments to Floyd Mayweather and his team.
Juicehead monkey. Juicehead monkey.
I just didn't like when he called us monkeys.
The most Conor could muster for an apology was a tweet saying he was sorry.
Dance for me, boy.
Years before Conor made it big in the UFC, he was busy tarnishing his reputation before he even had one. His coach, John Kavanagh, would host local MMA events and enlist the help of fighters from his gym to help sell tickets. In exchange for selling the tickets, they could keep a small commission of the sales. Conor was able to use his vibrant and charismatic charm to offload over 500 euros worth of tickets. But instead of taking his commission, decided to just keep all the cash for himself and left Kavanagh's gym. According to his book, Kavanagh stated, "That little shit who took my money and ran away stole roughly 500 euros from his longtime coach." The book also stated that Conor would rarely even pay his gym fees. After Conor's mother called Kavanaugh, imploring him to let Conor back into the gym, Kavanaugh agreed and even let Conor keep the money, stating, "If I didn't wipe the slate clean, he was never going to come back." Before the UFC 229 press conference, Dana White announced that the event would be closed to the public, with only select journalists and UFC staff to be permitted to attend the event. But Conor announced via his Twitter that fans who showed up to the event with a purchased bottle of Proper 12, McGregor's own brand of whiskey, would be allowed into the venue to attend the press conference. Conor even promised that if you purchased 2 bottles, you could skip straight to the front of the line. When the day of the press conference finally arrived, fans showed up at the doors of Radio City Music Hall with their bottles of Proper 12 in hand. Unfortunately for them, entry was promptly denied by security.
Son, I'd like you to step away from this vector and get into a different coordinate pronto. There's no access for you in this quadrant.
Leaving the fans out in the cold. But hey, at least they had a bottle of delicious high-end whiskey to keep them warm, right?
And it's not got a lot going for it, no.
I don't want to say that this is a fantastic whiskey, because frankly it's not. But pretty... not a lot going on there, honestly.
I had a lot worse.
Oh, jeez.
Conor didn't apologize for standing the fans up, but did issue an official apology for selling too many bottles of whiskey.
Where's the fans at? That's who we fight for. That's who pays the bills. That's who deserves this show.
McGregor also doesn't mind using his fans as a negotiation tactic when it comes time to sign a new contract. Conor has announced his retirement multiple times, disappointing his fans and leading them to believe they will never see him compete again. Conor's first retirement was announced in 2016 when he tweeted, "I have decided to retire young. Thanks for the cheese. Catch you later." Then, as soon as he finalized his new contract, he was back in the octagon just 4 months later, making it one of the shortest retirements in history. McGregor pulled this trick again in March of 2019, announcing his retirement from MMA, then only a day or 2 later announced he plans to be back in the cage by July.
What's next? I'm waiting. We're waiting for you.
Well, my next fight, we're in talks for July. So we'll see what happens. A lot of politics and going on. The fight game is a mad game.
McGregor also has several criminal and civil investigations currently underway, including an incident where a man claimed McGregor punched him in an Irish pub, as well as a sexual assault case that's been ongoing since December of 2018, neither of which have been proven in court as of yet. While McGregor has solidified himself as one of the most polarizing figures in MMA history, he's also become one of the most controversial.
Smash the windows!
Conor is still riding on his massive waves of success, but leaving a line of innocent victims in his wake. Many celebrities and athletes have taken the same path. Some made it through the adversity, and some didn't. Though it's still unclear where Conor's path will lead, we can be certain of one thing: the world will be watching.
Do you like breaking the rules?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I am the rule.
In the middle of the street I walk. Who's gonna stop me? Anyone gonna stop me?
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.